And a swindler on a scooter caught breaking into cars in Fairhaven. How many recent break-ins they've had in that area leave the police asking for the public's help. And new footage tonight of a wild crash caught on camera by a local university, a mail truck plunging into the Charles River. And an update on the war in Ukraine, what we're learning tonight, and how local communities here in Rhode Island are responding in a show of solidarity. Let's get straight to that top story for tonight. Ukraine releasing saddening statistics of how many have died since the start of a Russian invasion last week. Good evening. I'm Emmeline Reed. Thank you for joining us. The death toll now rising into the hundreds as nationals continue to fight. ABC national correspondent Rena Roy reports tonight from New York City.
As more Russian troops advance into Ukraine, the U.S. government is urging all American citizens to leave Russia immediately because flights in and out of the country are becoming increasingly limited. The heaviest fighting now reported in Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv. A Pentagon official says the Ukrainian resistance has been quite creative in finding ways to attack columns, but also warning Russia has a very significant amount of combat power still available in and out of the country. Russian President Vladimir Putin now putting his nuclear deterrent forces on high alert, claiming his country is under threat by NATO countries.
This is really a pattern that we've seen from President Putin through the course of this conflict, which is manufacturing threats that don't exist in order to justify further aggression.
Ukraine has agreed to send a delegation to the border of Belarus Monday to speak with Russian negotiators, but in this video message, the president of Ukraine warns talks likely won't succeed. The international backlash against Russia growing. The U.S. and its European allies barring some Russian banks from the international payment system SWIFT. The EU now agreeing to ban all transactions of Russia's central bank and freeze its assets. And the United Nations Security Council voting to convene a special session of the UN General Assembly on Monday to discuss the invasion.
I think Putin has underestimated what the world's response was going to be.
The UN says at least 422,000 people have fled Ukraine in just the past 72 hours. Roads leading to Poland jammed for dozens of miles. The U.S. is bolstering Ukraine with hundreds of millions of dollars of military aid and weapons. And for the first time ever, the European Union is financing the purchase and delivery of weapons to a country that's under attack. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Continuing our coverage tonight of that Russian invasion of Ukraine, we're looking locally to Woonsocket, where a joint Molly-Ben prayer service in support of Ukraine was held in hopes of sending a message of solidarity to those fighting to protect their country. ABC 6 News reporter Dominique Turner was at the prayer service and has reactions.
Churchgoers gathering into the pews of St. Michael Ukrainian Orthodox Church in Woonsocket Saturday for a joint ceremony in support of the Ukraine. The country in crisis, suffering from blasts and Russian forces. Rhode Islanders joined together in prayer and support of the Ukraine. Boris Kroner, a priest at St. Michael's, overcome with emotion when speaking of his home country and the devastation they're facing.
Those are the streets that I walked with my parents when I was a child, and to see bombs falling on those streets, to see people dying in my homeland where I grew up, a place that I love, it is heartbreaking and soul-crushing. It is absolutely horrifying, and it's surreal. It leaves me speechless.
The church filled with supporters, all sharing the same hopes and prayers.
The fact that we have so many people here shows that we are a family. We are united not only in Christ, but in our desire for peace, for independence, for freedom of our long and suffering country. It means everything. It means the world to us that they took the time out of their day and made the trip, joined us in prayer. It's incredible.
Kroner tells ABC 6 News he moved from the Ukraine to the United States when he was just 13 years old. Although most of his family live in the U.S. now, he has many friends still in the Ukraine who he's tried to stay in touch with.
People are ready to fight. They're ready to fight for their independence. They're ready to fight for their national identity and dignity. They're courageous people, and they will not be broken.
In Woonsocket, Dominique Turner, ABC 6 News.
Now let's take a look at the State House tonight in Providence, lit up blue and yellow Ukrainian colors as a show of support. Turning now to a fire in Norton earlier today left a man with severe burns. ABC6 News reporter Hector Molina spoke with neighbors today that witnessed that fire.
A 19-year-old man is in the hospital tonight after suffering severe burns on his leg from a fire that started in this home behind me earlier this morning. Now, the fire didn't cause too much in terms of exterior damage, but several windows at this home are still boarded up as the investigation into what caused this fire continues. A fire that left one person with severe burns started in the basement of this home in Norton just after 9 o'clock Sunday morning.
Out my front window and saw an emergency vehicle blocking my driveway.
Fran Morgan lives next door. While she didn't notice many flames, she says the fire led to a significant response.
I looked out my side window and I saw smoke billowing from the roof of the house next door. I didn't see any flames, just smoke. There was fire apparatus from several towns.
A family of 3 that lives at this home isn't sleeping there tonight, and the Red Cross is assisting them with finding a place to stay. Firefighters believe the fire started near a wood stove in the basement. Norton's Fire Chief Sean Simmons released this statement, saying, quote, "It only takes a few seconds for a fire to get out of control. We ask residents to make sure their stoves are in good working order, that they take great care when using them." Now, ABC6 has left messages for the Norton Fire Department to get an update on this investigation. Once we have it, we'll bring it to you on air and online at abc6.com. In Norton tonight, Hector Molina, ABC6 News.
Thank you, Hector. New tonight on 11 at 11, new footage released tonight from a local university's cameras that caught the crash we told you about last night. A mail truck plunging into the Charles River. Take a look at this footage captured from a camera on the dock at LaSalle University. You can see the truck go right over the edge and into the water. The driver, unable to swim, was able to get out and stand on top of the truck, taken to Brigham and Women's Hospital. ABC6 News did reach out for an update on that driver's condition tonight. We'll keep you updated on abc6.com as we learn more. And Fairhaven officials asking for the public's help to find a burglar who's been breaking into cars and fleeing on a scooter. Investigators say a total of 12 burglaries happened in North Fairhaven recently. They're hoping these pictures can help the public identify the main suspect. You can see the person here fleeing the scene of that crime on that scooter. Anyone with information on who this person could be or that happens to have additional security footage, police are asking that they come forward. Turning now to our continuing coverage of the coronavirus, Providence Public Schools announcing this week measures to keep the virus at bay as schools move towards making masks optional as of March 4th. Those plans include offering free at-home testing kits, several vaccination clinics, and staggered returns based on the student's grade beginning tomorrow morning. According to Commissioner Angelica Infante Green, quote, "COVID-19 won't be taking a break, and that's why we are giving our students, families, and staff many opportunities to get vaccinated, get tested, and return to school safely the week of February 28th. Also locally lifting mask mandates several locations throughout the South Coast. That includes the Naval Station in Newport. Their mask mandate was lifted this morning. The city of Brockton following suit and making face coverings optional in all city buildings as of tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., according to Mayor Robert Sullivan. The exception to these rules, unless you are experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, in that case, they'll ask you to mask up. Also making the move to remove masks, the U.S. Capitol is lifting the mask mandate ahead of President Biden's State of the Union address on Tuesday. Political experts tonight weighing in on what they believe the focus of that speech will be.
I think the reality is that most Americans are probably paying closer attention to the cost of gas and groceries than they are to Putin's invasion of Ukraine. You know, there's an ABC Washington Post poll out this morning that shows support for sanctions against Russia, if they lead to higher energy prices in America, are 15 points lower among people who say they're experiencing economic hardship. And those people tend to be the ones who aren't paying as close attention to the minute-by-minute coverage of the war in Ukraine.
Additional security measures are also being taken ahead of the event after a group of protesters have threatened to drive semi-trucks The group says they plan to do so in protest of the government. Capitol Police Chief Tom Manger said the decision to put up the fence was made alongside the Secret Service. National Guard troops and outside law enforcement will also be contracted to provide additional security surrounding the speech. Now let's get a check in the forecast. ABC 6 Storm Tracker meteorologist Tim Studebaker joins us live in the Weather Center. Tim, what do we prep for this week? Parkas, flip-flops, a little bit of both?
Probably not either. For the most part, it's a pretty quiet week out ahead of us. We do have a couple of cold days, a couple of warm days, and a little bit of rain and snow shower activity. But right now, it's not time for the 7-day forecast. We're just going to focus on today into tomorrow. Highs from today, we're into the low 40s. 42 at TF Green, 41 Taunton, 40 in Pawtucket, and 40 in Westerly. That was milder than yesterday, where we only had highs in the 30s. Right now, though, we're in the upper 20s and lower 30s, 31 Providence, 30 in Taunton, and 29 in Coventry this hour. Still dealing with a gusty breeze out of the northwest right now, about 15 to 25 mile per hour. Sustained winds gusting between 25 and almost 40 miles per hour. It looks like a 40 mile per hour wind gust out on Block Island, 32 miles per hour in Newport, and 23 here in Providence. Those gusty winds behind a cold front. That cold front has been touching off some snow squalls, mostly in northern New England. They have sunk to the south at this point, and they're pretty close to our area. I think a couple of stray snow showers are possible. Right now, we're seeing that in northeastern Bristol County, right around Easton and Mansfield. And we may have a couple more in the area, too, up around Foxborough and Sharon. The rest of your forecast coming up in just a bit. Back over to you.
All right, I'm going to pack that parka just in case. Coming up after the break, a floor in Colorado collapsing under the feet of partygoers. We'll tell you how many people were inside. Those stories and more coming up after the break. Stay with us.
With a full range of BMW X vehicles available, no matter what adventure lies around the corner, there's an X for that. Hurry and release a 2022 BMW X3 X-Drive 30i for $539 per month.
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Matt, who can come to a stop with barely a bobble. With USAA Safe Pilot, when you drive safe, you can save up to 30% on your auto insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Get a quote today.
With the Dibbs mobile marketplace, finding construction projects and materials is quick, easy, and reliable. Scroll through projects in your area, filter through projects by location, budget, or materials. Bidders can view projects and place bids with an estimate of how long it will take and how much it will cost. Simultaneously, the poster will receive each bid and can select who is the best fit. Claim dibs on your next project today.
Hello, AAA, your home for everything insurance, including auto insurance, home and renters insurance, small business insurance, and more. This is Pam. How can I help you find the best coverage and price today? Sure, I can help you with that.
Volkswagen has an SUV that's the perfect match for your lifestyle. Whether it's head-turning style, room for your entire family, a turbocharged joyride, or an all-electric experience. With our SUV lineup, any choice is a smart choice. More vehicles are arriving all the time. Visit your Providence Volkswagen dealer today to learn more about our vehicle lineup.
A floor collapsing at a house party beneath the feet of guests in Denver sent 3 teenagers to the hospital on Saturday night. Police say up to 150 teens were inside the house when part of the floor gave way. 2 of the teens are recovering with only minor injuries, while a third suffered serious injuries. That collapse also caused a gas leak, but luckily fire crews were able to shut off the line and make sure nobody was trapped inside. And 3 people dead after a shooting last night in New Orleans. 2 male victims were both pronounced dead at the scene. The female victim was later transported to the hospital where she died from her injuries earlier today. Their names have not yet been released. Police have no motives or suspects at this time.
And now, your ABC 6 Storm Tracker weather with meteorologist Tim Studebaker.